have lots of room here.
Doing the swim today because it's like in the 80s in New York. It doesn't get any better than that.
Exactly. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I am Tym Moss.
And Tim, you are streaming today.
Yes, I am. I am streaming because you didn't have room for me there.
Yeah, I know. We have
dancing. I was doing this because I got plenty of room here.
Rest of thousands happening here. So how is everybody doing today? You know, I'm a summer girl, and I have to tell you, I was walking down 2nd Avenue, and it's like 80 degrees, and I was feeling so fine. I just love the warm weather.
Well, I'm kind of a winter person, but I can 80 I can handle.
Right.
90, 100 can't handle. But this is fine. This is
wonderful. Your hair is looking really great.
Thank you. And hopefully it's not going to get all humid and sticky and stuff. But I wanted to start off real quick with a little bit of sad news. Last week, our guest was Adam Lynn, who was blind. And he had brought his dog, Nadia, with him. And Nadia was laying under the table. We couldn't get her up on camera. We tried, but I was sitting there straddling the dog the whole show. I had one leg on one side and one leg on the other side. I just love Nadia. Unfortunately, she was elderly and he went home. I rode with him on the crosstown bus with Nadia, and he said they got home and she collapsed.
Oh my God.
Died. Yes. So we were like the last ones to be with Nadia in her final days.
Okay. I am like totally and completely.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew this. I am so sorry.
How would I know it? You never told me.
Oh, I thought he had posted it. I thought he had posted about it. Oh,
I wouldn't see it unless I troll Facebook, and I only put my stuff up there. Tim, that's terrible.
Yes.
God, well, beautiful Nadia, rest in peace. And was he?
It was so shocking. It was so unexpected for everybody. Yeah.
I'm glad, though, that we got to spend some time with her.
Me too. She was fabulous. And we got to give her some water, some cold water.
Right. And she seemed like she was in good shape.
Yeah, she seemed to be fine. Yeah.
But she was up there in age. You know, I want to share this with people because I did a film with the Seeing Eye Foundation. When these dogs reach a certain age, they get retired by the person that they're helping, right? Because the dog can't function anymore. But of course, they're then kept as a pet, and then a new dog that's been trained is brought in. So they often have 2 dogs from that. And I would have loved for Nadia to have the chance to be
companion.
To be companion. I am so sorry to hear about that, and our condolences to Adam Lynn and
his family.
From the bottom and the whole family.
Absolutely.
And, Tim and I also, okay, now that we're on this thread.
Well, the next day I had dinner with a friend of mine right down near Pangea, Luna Sheffield. And she just passed her bar. Congratulations, her bar exams. So so she's doing really well. And then I went over to meet Wendy.
Right. At Reverend Yolanda's memorial.
Oh, wait, no, that was Crocodile.
Well, we went to Crocodile, but I want to give a shout out to Reverend Yolanda. Her husband, Glenn Ganaway, passed away, and the memorial was at the beautiful Unity Church, and so many singers. It was really a beautiful tribute and send off to Glenn. And Reverend Yolanda, of course, is an amazing entity who is a real reverend, an entertainer, and an absolutely beautiful soul. She's been on this show and she's really well known everywhere. So shout out to Reverend Yolanda. My God, things are like, this is just an emotional overload, Tym Moss. We did go to see in Crocodile Lair with
Crocodile Lair.
J.C. Austin and Jay Walker at Theater for the New City, and totally enjoy. I needed to laugh. And it made me laugh. And as I always like to say, I'd like to live in J.C. Austin's head, not for a long time, but I think I would have a breakdown. But how does he write these things? And in this particular piece that he did, so many of you might have seen Whiskey River, which was unto itself a remarkable piece. This one, though, the people all played animals, and the marvelous Jay Walker played a coyote, which it was perfect casting for Jay Walker. Absolutely perfect casting.
Absolutely. Well, I was fortunate enough to do play reading for my good friend Marvin Camille down at I can't think of what it is. I think it's Lutheran Church on Christopher Street, just off of
yes,
that's
I know that church.
Where Tony and Tina's wedding used to be. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and that was really cool. That was on Saturday morning.
Oh, cool.
And then we had a bite to eat, and I went over to Stonewall. Well, actually, I walked around the village, which I hadn't done for a long time.
Right.
I went to Raffetto's, which I love Raffetto's, fresh pasta, and picked up some fresh pasta, and then up to Stonewall for New York City Pride had an event there.
Yes.
So I popped in and said hello to everybody, and that was very nice to see everyone there.
Well, and also now the village, for any of you that are in New York City, if you go down there now, Stephen Love Menendez, of course, is putting up his rainbow flags. There's all kinds of things already happening in preparation.
And this weekend, starting tomorrow.
Yeah, starting tomorrow in preparation for Pride. On the same note, I hate this, but I have to give the other side of the coin. There's a lot of warnings out there. So if you are partaking in Pride, as all of us are, I wouldn't miss one Pride event. Just be mindful, keep your wits about you, right?
Yeah.
And
the State Department had issued a warning. Yeah, just keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes peeled.
Your eyes out and look out for your friends as well.
Like that's anything new to us.
Right, because God, New Yorkers. Well, speaking of New Yorkers, I went to a wonderful show here at Pangea Saturday night. Maria Connor for President musical. She's so funny. She wrote the book Girl Shock, How I Dressed as a Girl for Halloween, and I forgot what the rest of it, but ended up finding my true self. It's something like that. But now Maria Connor, her newest thing, she's a wonderful musician, singer, pianist, and she and Jackson Sturkey have come up with a new play called Maria Connor for President. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you. We take this very seriously. There's campaign buttons, and I know, I love it. And Maria was really on fire that night. We had a great audience here at Pangea, and we really had a ton of laughs. And one of the things I love about Pangea, when that show was over, up in the front, I forgot the name of the band that they had, but they were playing like Joni Mitchell songs. It's a dichotomy, right? It's such a range of talent here. And I love being able to sing along with the Joni Mitchell songs as much as I loved rocking out to Maria Connor. So if you're looking to have a really great evening, you can come to Pangea, see the show in the cabaret room, leave there, and then there's always a show up front. Have a great glass of wine, have some wonderful food, and really have a great time.
But now, speaking of a wide range of entertainment,
a wide range. So
this weekend is the Lower East Side Festival of the Arts at the Theater for the New City, which we're participating in. I'm going to be upstairs on the main stage in the Johnson Theater.
The Johnson
tomorrow night on Friday. So if you have plans for going out of town this weekend, change them. Wait till Saturday and come to Theater for the New City on Friday night. My time slot is 9:15, I think, or 9:16. And Wendy, you're going to be in the cabaret room.
The cabaret. My time slot, I'm doing 3 pieces and a brand new parody. I start at 10:04, and my brand new parody is right in the middle of my 3 pieces, and it's a duet. And I brought Icavelli on for this.
I heard.
I'm very, very excited. And of course, after me is our dear friend Evan Lawrence.
Evan is after you.
The show will be closing out with Lady Clover Honey.
Right.
So we're keeping it all in the family.
So everybody come out to Theater for the New City.
It's all weekend, and it's free. My God.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. In the afternoons, they have a stage set up outside on the street. Come down, enjoy that. In the evening, it's inside. They have upstairs and downstairs, the cabaret room and then in the Johnson Theater. And there's just all kinds of entertainers all weekend long.
And a shout out to Crystal Field, what she does for the theatrical world, what she's doing, not only here, but just in general, the amount of work that is produced at a Theater for the New City. I mean, this woman should be getting like the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing theater and sustaining it in New York. I'm not kidding. It's like, let's give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely. Right? She's been an ally of our community and the theatrical community. She's just allowed like experimental theater, and she's just open to all things. I love her.
Right. And my God, now we're talking about theater, which brings us to today's guest. I put a little light on my dismal situation. I can see Tim. I'm so excited because I don't want to mess up my introduction. Today, we have two amazing people with us, playwrights, producers, actors, collaborators. They came up with a wonderful show. It is a high camp, as I call it, gender bender comedy, paying homage to classic romantic films of the mid-20th century. The play will be at the Chain Theater. It's part of the Chain Theater's Factory series. It's from the 13th of June to the 24th. Okay, this fabulous play is called Tomorrow We Love. And put your hands together for Jeffrey Vause and Steve Hauck. And I have to slide out. So Tim, entertain our audience.
Okay, let me entertain you. Let me make you smile.
Sing louder.
Over new tricks, and there is Steve Hauck. A new do dictionary versatile. Speaking of versatile,
Tim, slide over a little bit more. All right, we're all here. Okay, are we all in?
You're all so cozy.
Are you comfortable? No, when you're not comfortable, we'll know you're in the right place.
Right.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Tim. I'm Jeffrey Vause, and I was so excited to be part of this show nearly 2 years ago when I was in my cabaret performer world, when I did my show Aloha Oi at Don't Tell Mama and here.
Yes.
And you were on the show, so this is exciting to be back.
Well, you know why you were on this show? Joe Preston, our amazing friend Joe Preston, had seen you at Don't Tell Mama,
right? And
that was your first time doing Aloha
Oi. That
right?
Was
and he's show. Like, this guy's new. I'm like, I don't know, but we've all had our finger in a lot of things for a long time, and I'll just put it that way. I'm sorry, you can just go with that. Come on, let Tim start.
Very moment, yes, Wendy.
Fingers in every pie.
Right, but Joe Preston said to me, "You got to see this guy. I love this show. You need to have him on your show." And then lo and behold, he ends up doing the show here. We put him on, and
you came. And you were so kind.
You know what? Aloha was just it was your personality. In a city that's so rough around the edges, there was something so beautiful about the sensibility of that show. And you coming from Hawaii, it was like,
I just look at me.
So I am meeting Steve for the first time.
Oh my God, Steve's wonderful.
You two go way back.
We go way well. 15 years, we think.
15 years or so, yeah, somewhere around there, definitely. Yeah. Well, we met originally at Unity.
Yes,
Unity
spiritual community,
right?
And then we worked together in the theater. I directed you as the fairy godmother, or the fairy godfather, mother. What it was?
Well, I think it was. Yeah, it was the fairy godmother. It was just right when trans and all of that was happening, and it was an updated version. It was called "If the Pink Pump Fits," I think.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
By Jack DeVille, and it was an updated Cinderella story about a young boy that had a evil mother or stepmother and stepbrothers who were mean to him, and he just wanted to go to the prom, and he liked the football, the gay, he was gay and liked the football players. And so all of a sudden his fairy godmother popped out and helped them get together, and it turns out that in the final scene, the stepmother pulls my wig off and I'm her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this already. Are you thinking of doing a revival?
We should do that again.
Oh, we could.
We should. I would love that. That was such a fun script.
It is. It's a really fun script. How long was this piece?
20 minutes. It was a short play. It might have been
great.
25 minutes. It was part of an evening of short plays.
But you already have me turned on. I totally love the whole premise of this. I think that's a great idea. And so often, isn't it great? We're all here together today. We find ourselves working with the people that we start in the industry with, and they resurrect. You know, I would say I started in the late 70s, and there's still when a lot of when I was an embryo, but there's still a lot of people around, and you know, I love following their success. And I think the reason I wanted to have Jeffrey and Steve here today was, you know, I remembered you from Aloha, and it was kind of like you were dipping
Aloha, oi, give it that New York
right,
thing,
it's the New York thing, right?
Aloha,
oi.
Oi.
I remember, but you were dipping your foot back into cabaret with that.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I get a letter, an email like everyone did about this incredible play. They're raising money for it. I'm like, what is this? And it's got a long cast in it, and it's got everything, and it's like a full production. And I'm like, I have to have them on the show. I'm so excited.
That's very kind. Thank you.
You know, because this is coming up fast and furious. It's from the 13th to the 24th.
23rd, actually.
To the 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we just started rehearsals Monday night.
Wait, you just started rehearsals?
We just started rehearsals.
Okay, so this is going to be question number 1. As a performer, Mama needs much more time than that.
Well, I've been living with the piece for a long time.
Your actors, though.
They're fine.
They're okay.
They're basically, you know, we were doing some wonderful table work at first.
Okay, so that had a chance to familiarize.
You know, they've been cast for over a month, so I think, well, you know what, it's going to be fine. I'm very confident.
Yep. Well, we were told by some people, oh, you only can have 2 weeks of rehearsal.
Right, and we were freaked out.
And we said, no. We need at least 3 weeks of rehearsal, because this is around actors' schedules who have other work and jobs and gigs.
But I see you also have choreography and things like that. This is like a major... my God. I imagine myself in that position.
And it's drag and costumes and
oh my God.
Right.
So yeah, it sounds a lot more, but you know, I did this play 4 years ago initially at Theater for the New City, and I was closed down at the pandemic thanks to COVID, and I got COVID right after it in March 2020.
Did you even get to do it?
You were scheduled to open, right? Or did you?
We had opened. We had 6 performances, Tim,
in March of 2020.
Yeah, it was March 12th. Remember when Broadway shut down? March 12th.
Well, they shut New York down March 12th. I remember because I had COVID by March 16th.
Yeah, me too.
How did I?
I lucked out. I always tell people I got OG COVID.
What was that?
Original COVID.
original gangster COVID.
Did you lose the smell and taste for 8 months?
You know what's weird? Not for 8 months, Wendy. You know what happened? I'll never forget. I was eating dinner with Freddie one night, and
what's wrong with your cooking?
I can't taste anything. And he's the best cook, and I'm like, I can't taste anything. And then the next morning it was fine, so it wasn't that. But back to that, I had written this play, we did it, I produced it, I was in it, and you know, we sort of basically were shut down before we could be, and I put it away, and then I became a cabaret. I thought I'm going to do the cabaret then. And then last summer I told Steve, I said, hey, listen, what would you think if we maybe collaborated, and if you'd be interested in directing a revival, as it were? And then Steve agreed, but he said, you know, I'd like to revisit it. Would you let me make some little tinkering? Would you let me tinker with it?
Well, I asked you if you would be willing to look at the script and make some changes. I did not anticipate it became me. It was because I loved the premise and the scenario that you created, and I think there's unrealized potential here.
I love that.
That's collaboration.
That's what I felt.
I love that.
Your story
and your characters.
Yes. Although we did make one character change.
We did. We
made one character change. We won't go into detail.
But remember, I wanted to cut that character.
And you wanted to cut that character.
And you fought to keep the character back in.
To keep it in.
And we changed the nature and the personality of that.
Oh, I love that.
Because
my daughter. So I play a woman of a certain age who's the richest woman in town.
Laney
Fairbanks. 1960, summertime, 1960, Noble Bay, California, which is a northern little seaside haunt. Beautiful little small town. And my daughter, fictional small town,
but based on a real place.
Kind of like Bodega Bay.
That's what that's exactly where I was going with it. Thank you for getting that. But my daughter had a boyfriend in the original who was played, as we have this gender bending casting thing, which you briefly mentioned. We have 2 men playing women. My daughter's played by a female actress, and her boyfriend is played by Phoebe's a non-binary.
She's non-binary.
They're non-binary. So Phoebe, though, is now playing the boyfriend, and the initial boyfriend was played by a female actress as a football player. But Steve, in his infinite wisdom and
really,
well,
or finite wisdom,
let's right. Steve suggested, this is a California town. What if he was like a surfer proto hippie?
Yes,
this whole different feel for his character's Logan. And it's really fun. It's really fun.
And he has some of the unity philosophy.
Oh, that's hilarious. Did you put that in there?
Yes. Stephen had to sneak that in.
I totally. If you from Unity of New York, especially, you will recognize phrases of Carlos Wayne Anderson.
Yes.
Amalia, our ministers.
We have to go.
But that character would be the perfect place to slip some of those in.
Yes. And it's 1960, so it's really pre-hippie. It's kind of post beatnik.
Post beatnik,
but the Eastern spirituality was starting to come to America, the Maharishi, etc. So,
but it was pre-women's lib also.
That's a very good observation.
Good segue, Steve. You
want me
to segue? Yes.
Well, when I saw this play, I was immediately reminded of my mother, who was a wonderful person, a wonderful woman. She died on my 60th birthday in 2019.
I forgot that.
And she at one point told me later in her life that she felt she had been born 1 year too early.
Wow.
To really ride that wave of feminism, that started to gain
What was
momentum.
her birth date?
She was born in 35.
Okay. Yeah, I just
35,
did the math.
So she felt that she was a year older than being able to really participate fully in it.
Right. Because I was born. So go ahead, Donald.
I was just going to say, because that was such a hardened time that she grew up in, from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s,
oh my God,
the World War II and all of that.
Yes.
Women had their place during that time, and I could see how she might.
If
she was just a little bit younger, she would have been able to swim in there. Yeah,
that's right. That's exactly the way I
and men were the breadwinners.
Yes, men were the bread.
You depended on your man to win the bread.
So Lainey Fairbanks is, to the best of her ability, the perfect 50s woman.
Yes.
The wife, the homemaker,
everything,
the mother. Always the chairman of the bake sale. Donna Reed. We have
has a cookie sheet full of cookies for the kids when they come home from school. And
absolutely. And then through no fault of her own, it's all pulled out from under her abruptly when her husband, in true cliche fashion, has an affair with his younger secretary. So my feeling is
her world comes crashing down.
And the dramatic question becomes, in our telling of it, her perfect life fell apart overnight. Will she crash, or will she take flight?
Right.
She finds she has to finally look within and say, who am I? What do I want apart from
Lainey Fairbanks?
Who is Lainey Fairbanks? Right.
Yeah. So that's the
women
foundation.
Didn't question that in those days
either.
Exactly,
because women. I mean, again, during that time period, women were not free to choose or to think openly, and that's a really interesting time that you set this play to be in.
Right.
Yeah, I actually, when I initially wrote it, which really initially started like 9-10 years ago, to be honest.
Wow.
I've been working on it that long. And when I initially wrote it, it was because I was born in the summer of, and we're like totally outing ourselves with our age. I'm a summer girl.
The lighting is good here. We
actually the Aloha Oi I did on my birthday. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was
my birthday, July 6th.
Yeah.
So I was born in the summer of 1960. So I just immediately went, I want to do something when I was born, the summer I was born. And then the initial thought when I initially wrote the play and the original piece was a basic homage to the downtown theater people, to people like Charles Busch, Charles London. And I wanted it to be ridiculous and yet also theater in limbo, theater for the ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
Dear friend of mine, Andy Halliday, was a huge influence on me and my writing. But then I don't know if I quite got it. As I wrote it more and more, it seemed to be less this and more that. And we kind of had elements of everything. And, you know, here we are closed by COVID, where all of a sudden it was over and I had a chance to go, wait, did I do the right thing?
What the hell just happened?
What just happened? Can it be better? Was it not what I expected? Was it what I expected? There were so many questions and I literally like shut down, as we all did.
Right.
And I remember that summer being like, oh, I'll never ever act again.
Well, I felt that way a week after the COVID. I'm like, baby, it's all done for you.
It's done. You'll never do it again.
Yeah, you're never going to do anything again.
Or anything creative. And again, it took me literally, 4 years? 4 years.
But the thing is, you did it though, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You know, you did it.
Yeah,
and it's happening, and it's. I think it impressed me with this big production.
And I appreciate the fact that you were open to modifying it, to changing it, and allowing Steve to come in with his thoughts.
We can talk about that. Yeah, I mean, so Stephen and I go way back, further than you, Tim.
Oh,
When horse and buggy days.
Well, not exactly.
Stagecoach, maybe.
The Pony Express.
Yeah. There was Jeffrey with a tray, a cookie sheet of warm cookies.
Right. Yes.
Well,
in a bonnet and Little House on the Prairie.
Buddy slippers.
The cookies.
Buddy slippers, because I was the star of a off-Broadway production of Harvey Fierstein's brilliant Torch Song trilogy.
Yeah.
Right.
Played it, and actually, it's literally. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I had played David the son in Hawaii before I moved to New York in the 80s.
Right.
And then when I came here in the 90s, it was 1997, and it was May, so we're going on 27 years knowing each other.
Nice.
Steve was cast as the third. We had two other Eds in the production, and he was cast as the third.
So
Ed.
you both had.
We played.
That's so funny.
We played lovers.
We played lovers.
Ed is a bisexual man in the Torch Song trilogy who does have a on again, off again relationship
with Arnold. And I always told Steve, you know, it was such an amazing. We did it at the Grove Street Playhouse, which is no longer. Do you guys remember the Grove?
Of course I do. Of course, it's no more. The whole no more.
It's like a German restaurant, like 3 times over. But oh my God, what an amazing production! The only regret I ever have about that, because I think I did some of my best work. Not to put my horn. What
a role though! Look at the role.
It was like the Goddard Dahmering of gay theater.
And you had just really come here.
I had been here about 6-7 years. Yeah,
but to get something like that is like
and I was fortunate. I got to work on it for about 6 months. So I really got to get into the character, and then Steve comes along and then just like blew our heads off. And every night it was so.
That Steve is a head blower.
I know. Yeah. I always tell him, as we've been friends all this time, as we have been, that he made it easy for me to fall in and out of love with him every night. Wow. I just felt safe. I could do anything. So, and
you clicked with this
person. We clicked and became close friends. And then, I went and did my corporate career that I still do, but I was always had this on the side. And then Steve went and became this fantastically successful, brilliant actor, star of stage and screen. Have you watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Yeah. Tell us the character you play on there again.
Dawes.
Dawes, right.
Dawes is the butler to.
Oh, that's perfect.
The butler to Jane Lynch, Sophie Lennon. Right. Yes. So when Alex and Rachel, come to see her at her beautiful townhouse, I open the door and look at them down my nose with an English accent.
I can see you playing that.
Casting. Right? Oh my God, Jane Lynch! I have loved her since even before the Oh, I can't think of his name. Waiting for Guffman and the.
Oh yeah.
Even
Christopher Guest.
Yeah, even all the Christopher Guest movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's just brilliant. She's just incredible.
And
But
you've also
one of my.
And he's
One of my.
He's been on Broadway also.
I was just going to say one of my proud moment, or for my moments of being the most proud of a friend of mine that I met here in New York City was seeing you in Irene's Vow with Tova Felchu, and what I just brimming with pride watching you on that stage. You were just brilliant.
Thank you. Yes, I think I was 49 or 50, and I thought, I'm making my Broadway debut, as a number of us in that play were. So it's never too late if you keep on going. You put up
maybe Wendy.
70s, maybe
70s. It can happen.
It could happen.
Absolutely.
It could happen anytime.
Yeah.
You can wake up one day and it can all change. It is. It's never ever too late.
Right. And I Jeffrey's saying that I was successful. I just kind of put one foot in front of the other, and took work every time I had a chance to.
Same.
Working out of town and then working in town, making connections, meeting people, honing my craft. You will say, we say. So, and this is an amazing opportunity for me. I want to just jump in and say thanks to Jeffrey.
I love that
I have done some directing. I've never done any writing for the theater.
Wow.
And here I have this amazing opportunity to see a play that I co-wrote and directed and have my best friend in it.
Nice.
And how many people get that kind of opportunity?
Right. Very lucky.
Off Broadway, it's still Midtown New York City.
It is. The Chain Theater.
The Chain Theater is,
there are
things
312 West 36th Street. The Chain
Theater.
Thank
you.
Fourth floor.
Right, fourth floor. But you're smart because you recognize there are people that would say, oh, I've been on Broadway. I've been on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I know you've done a score of other things, but you're jumping out there and you committed to this project with this guy, and you've opened up a door for yourself in a whole other area because it's never too late.
Right. Exactly. And it's scary to do something new, something that you don't have a track record or some kind of record of success, so that you can go, okay, I know I can do this. There are moments when I say, how am I doing this? I can't do this.
Right. How am I doing? Right.
Who am I to think I could do this? But Jeffrey's very encouraging, very loving. He tells me, no, you can do it. And I say, okay.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Well, and to that point, the collaboration was scary at first because
it's new.
It's new, Tim, and I had to let go. And I'm like, okay.
Right. I was going to ask, how does ego get in the way of that?
It does to an extent, because at first when Steve and I would meet, and then we would go through the script and line by line, and we would go, well, he would say, I think it should be this. And I would be like, why? I would be very protective
of
what I had written. And, I knew it needed to be fixed and worked on, and I wanted it different. And, we've done so much that we've actually compressed. And one of Steve's points, make the action tighter. And no longer, it was a 2-act play with one intermission. Now it's 90 minutes, no intermission.
Right.
Honey, you get on that train and we go.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm hoping. But that's how it's written now. And that was Steve's genius in taking what I had done, and let's get rid of the extraneous, Let's just stick to this woman's story, her journey. Her husband's left her. Her friends are taking advantage of her. Her daughter's a problem.
The town is turning on her.
The town is turned on her.
Right.
She has become, and
poor lady.
And the other thing that Steve added, which I hadn't thought of before, was, what if she's the richest woman in town?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Now we have her living. She has a beautiful ocean view. She talks to the ocean. It's hilarious. She talks to the ocean. That's like her.
Oh, I would too.
Well,
it's great.
She talks to the ocean. And she has this gorgeous house, this gorgeous clothes. She's got it all for 20 years.
Perfect. Her life is perfect.
And
the rug
is ripped out. Right. And what is she going to do? How does she survive? What happens? And hopefully it's compelling. And what I like that Steve has also done, I think, we call it a comedy. It's not a laugh out loud comedy, I don't think.
I'm hoping there will be moments.
I'm hoping there'll be
finding
moments. We're finding
balance.
that balance right now.
Well, when I come, you'll know what's funny.
Yeah.
Because also we laugh at the right thing.
You guys do.
Yeah.
You're the
Like
audience.
laugh.
We enjoy theater.
Aloha, oh, you were like right there, front and center with Alan. God bless.
Yeah, God bless.
Oh,
rest
God
in
bless.
peace.
He was
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah, he really was.
But I just know that when people have a few people have occasionally mentioned that little thing, that little skit downtown that's moving uptown, that Oh Mary show.
Well, yeah, but
it's completely different,
right?
And I haven't seen it, but from what I know, have you guys seen it?
No, I'm dying. Bianca Lee is in it.
Bianca.
I'm so happy for Bianca Lee.
Yes.
I mean, because she's an amazing actress,
and
she's
been,
but hello, we
dues.
all have,
Paying
and
her
when
dues.
you see it pay off for somebody like that, she's an incredible actress, and it's going to Broadway.
It's going to
My
Broadway,
God,
yeah. It's exciting. And
I put myself in the lottery for that, by the way. I did yesterday.
I wanted to see it early on, and then I think
I would definitely want to go.
I missed the boat on. You know how sometimes you miss that downtown boat? It's like, okay, this is a real happening.
There's so many boats.
There's so many.
It's
boats.
like we're all on the Titanic and jumping into those lifeboats. Everybody we know has a damn show.
The Hamilton, there was the Hamilton lifeboat.
Right.
You saw that.
I saw that at the Public.
You did.
I saw it at the Public.
Wow.
Oh, with who played Jonathan Groff played him. It was Byron Darcy James played him down in off Broadway. Played the King George part.
Wow.
And you're just blown away. I remember shaking at the end of that piece. But the reason I bring up O'Mary, which again I haven't seen, I wish I could. I don't think I'm going to be able to because it's just doing
do the
so
lottery.
well. I might do the lottery.
I'm doing the lottery.
But it's not, people are like, a few people have been, it's O'Mary. It's like, no, it's not O'Mary, because I think O'Mary, from what I've heard, Cole has done a brilliant job of making this skit about what if Mary was this,
right?
Which I think she's an alcoholic,
right?
Cabaret,
yeah,
right. Whereas our show, I think, really does tell a story, and the characters, I think you'll relate to.
Hope so.
We hope. And I think they're fleshed out, and I think that we really take it seriously.
Right.
We're sort of setting up the genre, but we're also honoring it.
Mm-hmm. I would say that is our aspiration.
That's what we want.
And we hope, yes, that it's a comedy with something a little more serious on its mind, but it's also going to be some silliness and some spoofness in it, and just things that come out of left field and aren't explained, so we're
excited to see it.
Yeah.
I really am. It was interesting to me. You have a long run and a lot of shows. You're running Tuesday through Sunday.
That's only for 1 week, but we are running.
That's 12, a lot.
Yeah, we're running 12 perforends, and
and this is part of the factory
series. Yeah.
What is it? Can you tell us what the factory series is? I had never heard of it before.
I hadn't either, but
we're in it.
But we're in it. I know that the Chain Theater has their own sort of. In fact, they're doing a show. I'll give them a shout out. Hopefully they'll give us one. Out. They're doing Simpatico, which is the Sam Shepard play, directed by David Zayas, who is the brilliant actor, husband of Liza Colon Zayas, who I adore. The two of them are just brilliant. He's directing it. Kirk Gotowski, who is the head of the Chain Theater, is in it. And they're performing at the same time we are.
Wow.
But I think Kirk had told me early on when I signed the contract back in January, February, that they wanted, we're a separate production from the Chain.
Okay.
So they just wanted, we're going to call you the Factory Series. I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll call us what you want. Just let us use the theater.
How did you end up producing the piece there? How did that all happen?
That's a good question. Steve can.
I'm filled with good questions.
Well,
duh.
We first went here. We talked about not all great due respect to Crystal Field and Theater for the New City that we didn't want to do it down there again. We wanted to bring it up, Midtown.
Well, a different location. It's really about doing things in a different location.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And we first went and looked at some theaters at Theater Row, which are 99-seat theaters as a rule there. And we weren't exactly happy with what was available to us there. And I don't even know how.
Well, I think what happened was, it was interesting. We went to look at the spaces that were offered, because I gave Steve an ultimatum. I said, let's do it this summer and we'll do it. And that's it. We're going to do it. We'll have it out there. And God damn pardon my French, let's just do it.
So what do you just start walking around and talking? How does one do this?
Yeah, well, we had already been working on the piece, and we would meet often. We would work on it.
But how did you, the theater aspect of it, to decide where one is going to produce the work?
So we went to Theater Row and we said, okay, we want to keep it 99 seat or less. And it was your idea that night you called me to do it the chain, because you said we were this close to signing with Theater Row, but I just wasn't comfortable with the actual space. We were like, it was a secondary space for the period of time we wanted. We really wanted to be like the last of June. We wanted to be part of Pride a little bit, And so Steve called and said, hey, the Chain Theater's got a 99 seat and a 65 seat.
And I think I just may have gotten an email from them or seen something on Instagram. It
just popped up. That's funny how that happens.
You were supposed to. Well, again, that's
and it was funny.
That's the unity thing. Everything happens in divine order. Everything happens in divine order. And what's supposed to happen will happen.
Everything. Oh God. Okay. Everything.
You got another one here.
Yeah. The things that have gone bad
are happening because they're supposed to.
But having said that, also, producer Jeffrey Hauck, because I've done this a couple times, and I don't know if I'm good at it, but I just do it because I'm the sort of person that, who else is going to, I really believe.
You just answered it. I don't think they're as good at it, bad at it, or whatever. Who else is going to do it?
But that's you, Wendy. That's Wendy Stuart.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Tim Moss too. You guys are like the poster children for that.
Get out there and do it.
Get out there and do it. And so I put on my producer ad and I said, let's see, 40 seats sold in a 65 seat theater looks a hell of a lot better than 40 seats sold in a 99 seat.
Bam.
There with
Bam. That's true.
That's the math, right, Tim?
That's
do the math.
Do the math. And, I struggled with the ticket pricing because, Theater for the New City, God bless them, they want to keep things, affordable, which I love that. And I can only charge a certain amount. And, I do have some, we've, oh my God, people have been so generous. I've raised over $17,000. Just in my email. Just an email from people I know, people who gave before.
But there's also a reality of cost and cause.
It's not cheap. You guys know.
Exactly. Theater, New York City theater, people don't realize it's expensive.
It's not cheap.
Expensive to put a show up.
And we've gone next level. We have amazing designers. We have a couple of really great Carnegie Mellon graduates.
Oh, you do?
Seriously.
Oh my God! Yeah, they're great theater
designers
department.
and an actor.
And an actor are from Carnegie Mellon, and they know each other, which is hilarious.
Right.
Our set
nice.
Evan, our lighting designer Sasha, Phoebe, who's playing Logan, and I wanted to step up. I want to step up a notch. I want it to look professional.
Mm-hmm. I got that feeling when I read the whole press release and everything on it. Yeah.
But as you know, that costs.
Right.
My PR guy costs money, theater rental. I wanted to pay the actors, a good amount. These people are coming in. I know that these aren't necessarily people that do this for a living, right? So they have to day jobs.
They're aspiring.
They're aspiring, but you know what? They got to pay the bills.
Right.
So
it's a different New York than when we used to do showcases.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to keep it simple, and I wanted I want the quality. I'm praying, and that's the good thing about Steve is that he's 100% behind it. We want the quality to be there.
Right.
We want people to really get a sense of that world, and we want it to feel, we want you to go on the journey with us.
Yeah.
The first production
we're going.
Was
Aloha Oi.
We're going.
Aloha Oi.
The first production at Theater for the New City was directed by a mutual friend of ours, Grant Neal,
shout out.
Had worked with the Ridiculous Theatrical Company.
Oh, so perfect.
He had worked with Everett, not with Charles Ludlam, but with Everett Clinton.
Everett.
Lovely Everett. And he brought that sensibility to the production. And this time around, I wouldn't say we're taking a more conventional approach. Maybe. I don't know. We're more like we're finding our own dynamic. We're finding our own
you're finding your own space within the piece. And It has to be.
It has to be.
Is the two of you doing that, right?
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, initially I thought it was this, and then when Grant had come aboard, he really did an amazing job. Grant, if you're out there, hi Grant.
Hey Grant.
Thank you so much. Grant has given me. He gave me the wings to do it the first time, and I will never forget him for that.
I love
and
it.
you know, it's really about taking it to the next level.
Right.
Is really the only way I know how to put it.
Right.
You know,
Right. Exactly.
we want to be taken seriously. Heck, we're hoping that somebody, you know, as we all are. Who knows? But somebody
look what happened with O'Mary. O'Mary.
You know, and you're not O'Mary, but hopefully we're
right. But you're hoping
we're tomorrow we love.
That's it. Right.
Absolutely. Now, can you please just tell everybody when, where, and what time, and where they can get tickets?
Yes,
sure. When, where, what time? So we are at the Chain Theater, Factory Series at the Chain Theater, which is 312 West 36th Street on the 4th floor.
Got it.
We are performing the first week it's Thursday through Sunday, and the second week is Tuesday through Sunday, June 13th through the 23rd.
Okay.
We have Saturday matinees on the 2 Saturdays,
right?
And we close Sunday afternoon, June 20th.
And you're at 7 o'clock at night.
7 p.m. shows, so you'll be out of there by 8:30.
Oh, that's good.
I have Long Island people who are like, "Oh my God, you're right near Penn Station." I'm like, exactly. Exactly. So they'll take that 9 o'clock back to Huntsville.
Location.
Thank you. I wanted it. You know, I wanted an early start time. I thought, you know, I don't know. As I age, is it wrong that I don't like an 8 o'clock curtain?
I am right down with you.
I don't think it's got anything to do with aging. I'm going to tell you all something. It's got to do with how much money is in your pocketbook. Okay. If I have to take that Uber home, and I live on the Upper East Side from downtown, I'm looking at $35. Wow. So if the show starts late and I don't want to take the train there, and I don't want to take the train home, I have spent $70, and that's
right there.
Right, without my cocktail.
Your cocktail or your dinner.
Right. Oh, forget about dinner. I'm talking about liquid dinner. So, you know, Uber and liquid dinner, it's easily $100, and whatever you pay to go to see the show. It's $150. My God.
So I believe is it Eventbrite?
It's eventbrite.com. If you go to our website, tomorrowwelove.com, we have a portion where it says get tickets here. You can click on that. It goes right to it. You can go to Eventbrite and look at it. Right now, we have a pretty basic ticket plan. It's $45. But producer Jeffrey Hatt has been working with either TDF or I might do a discount code.
Oh, good. I'm a member of TDF.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, you know, but, you know, it's one of the other, I mean, I'm not complaining, but it's like, this is all in my head, you know, my lines. Oh my God, I have to pay. And I'm helping with insurance right now.
Yeah, right. No, like, that's another thing. Let's talk about that. Oh my God. I made it right.
My lighting designer, Sasha, who's amazing, she's going to be renting some incredible equipment.
Right. You need to get the insurance for it.
You need to get insurance for it. I do?
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I got insurance. So I thought the COI that I got for Chain was enough.
What is COI?
Certificate of Insurance.
Okay.
I thought that was enough, but no, I need that. I need a flame proofing certificate. So
you're using fire in the show?
No, but I think the Chain requires.
The theater requires. Oh my God.
We can't have smoke. They won't let us.
No smoke.
Which kind of, I was kind of disappointed. I kind of wanted a cigarette moment.
Yeah.
Wait, you think that's
yeah.
Smoke?
I think so.
Oh my God!
But
a joint moment.
A joint moment we might have had
for our proto hippie.
Logan.
Yeah, for the boyfriend.
Yeah,
but well, you know what? You should have lines of Coke. Then you'd have to worry about anything. Problem solved. Simple.
And just do some baking soda, and it'll all be fine.
Yeah. But it is on Eventbrite. Keep an eye. I mean, I shouldn't say, you know, don't buy tickets till discounts, but there possibly will be some discounting going on.
Yeah, cool.
The brilliant thing about my world and the wonderful people that support me, and it will make me cry, is that they've already bought tickets,
right, to support
people. People have sent money and bought tickets, and I kept thinking,
they're your angels.
$45, is that a lot? And I said, no, you know what, a Broadway play now is $200 easy. Says with the Uber and all.
I just do the lot. If I'm going to do, that's the closest I can get to do a lottery.
We'll do TDF on occasion sometimes,
like TDF,
you know, but I can't, you know. And I thought, well, I don't want to undercut myself. I'm not doing this to make money, guys. I'm really not.
Oh my God, no! It's the cost of doing business.
But that is part of it. Money is
it
part
is
of it.
part
You
of
have to
it.
have money to do this.
Exactly.
And why not end up with some in your pocket?
Hopefully, that's the goal. And I think that, you know, again, if we step up our production game, which we have, we have these incredible designers. We have this amazing group of actors that I really feel.
I have costumes, wigs, lighting, choreographer, assistant choreographer, sound person, stage manager, assistant stage manager, PR person.
Wow.
And this is before you even get to the actors, right? Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. You can hear those dollars going.
Right, because we want to pay people at least enough that it's worth their time.
Right. You
because
have to,
everyone's doing it from love and from an artistic impulse, but we have to think about the reality of living in New York City. And these are professionals. These are for people for whom their time is valuable. That's the way I think of it.
Well, I think with the way New York has become, even if you're a professional, most professionals I know have second jobs.
Well,
I know a lot of people like you. They have a thing that's a guaranteed thing. It is very hard, and I can speak because I go from gig to gig to gig to gig. And you know what? I have, but I've reached a point, and someone said to me, "How do you do it?" I said, "You know what? If somebody offered me a lucrative job in the arts, something that I would enjoy, I would take it. I would absolutely take it because I have been the last model standing all by myself for too long. And it's very hard in this city. Oh, it's so sad. It's so hard in this city. And now there's congestion pricing.
Oh my God. You know, when congestion pricing, I was like, oh crap, when does the show end? June 23rd. Oh, good. Congestion pricing June 30th.
Right ahead.
We'll have people that will be driving in, I'm sure.
Right.
The struggle is real.
But also, like you were saying about the money and this and that, and it is show business. It is a business, and you have to approach it as such, because without the business, there is no show. So,
thank you, Tim.
So true.
So I want to talk to the both of you about the common denominator here, the influence of your mothers.
Yes.
You're going to go first. Because I know a little bit about him. But
Well, yes, I saw my mother in this piece because, as I said earlier, you know, she had this feeling that she was born a year too early. My parents met at Princeton Seminary.
Wow.
In 1958, I think it was, Princeton University, as far as I know, was still all male.
Men,
all men, right?
But
the Princeton Theological Seminary that trained ministers was co-ed.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he came from Ohio, she came from Atlanta, Georgia, wanting to be a minister, but it became very clear to her that there was no support for her to be a minister. Even if she got through the 2-year program and became ordained, there probably was not a church in the country that was progressive, forward thinking enough to hire
interesting story.
A female minister, right?
But again, what a progressive thinker she was.
Yes. This is like, I love paying homage to her and learning this about her.
Yeah, I do too. And that's
I had no idea.
Yeah,
you didn't tell me that.
But that's why you have to come on this show, because I pull everything.
No, but I think when we started talking about doing the show together, that's when it came up. And I thought, really? I thought, okay.
That here's a woman who's done everything what she right by
she's supposed to do
the social standards,
right?
And everything's taken away from her by this, an arbitrary decision by her husband, who has all the power. As you were saying, women were not allowed to sometimes have checking accounts. They were not, they didn't have any real autonomy. So in our story, that becomes a blessing. But it's
I love the way you wove it in.
It's a fresh start for Lainey. Lainey is not destroyed by this. She finds.
Oh wait! Spoiler alert!
A new.
Getting that Lainey
we kind of figured that out.
Lainey's made it tougher stuff.
And ironically, I could say one more thing that women at the time, and maybe to this day live their lives through the perceptions of men.
Yes.
Right? And here we have two men playing women who then must find their true, so there's this true feminine power within themselves. So there's levels of irony here, which I hope will be, will be interesting as well as funny and somewhat maybe even thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking to your audience. That's where I was going.
I want it to be funny and entertaining most of all.
Right.
But anything else will be gravy. And of course, I want some substance. And I know Jeffrey and I both share that.
But now knowing what I know about your mother, I'm going when I come to see this, that'll play in my head.
Right.
Your relationship with your mother.
My mother, oh God, she wasn't in this at all. I wasn't thinking consciously of her because she wasn't the perfect homemaker.
She wasn't the perfect homemaker.
No, my mother, I was the fourth of four. And by the time I came around, they were like, whatever.
That one sings and dances.
Here's a knife. Go outside and play. Yeah. I was the third.
I was very close to my mother. My mother actually, a brief story. My mother had epilepsy, and when I was born, she wasn't able to, really, I think, take care of me. So my sister was 14 at the time. She and I bonded. I think she became my mother. She taught me how to read. We were very, very close. My mother was a woman from Hawaii who was, just a housewife. Isn't that terrible?
Well, but that's what it was
a
in those
housewife.
days. Yeah.
She took care of 4 kids.
Right. She had 4 kids.
We had 4 kids. I think I said it in Aloha Oi in my cabaret. We lived in a small house with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom for 6 people. Like, really? How did I do that? But to your point, my mother, please, abortion came along, and I'm from a Catholic family, and I went to a rally to support abortion. I mean, banning abortion. When Roe v. Wade, I was a kid. I remember marching at the Capitol. I had to. Right. So they were very, very concerned. My mother probably was only in this play, maybe in terms of how I play her. I think because she pops into my head and how she would say something and like that. But I had never intended it to be sort of that way. And I love that Stephen brought that into it. Yeah. Because I think this pulls the play into like a whole nother dimension that I wasn't even thinking writing this silly piece like that's a takeoff on, Peyton Place or Summer Place. And Stephen comes in like, the mother, the women. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, but I'm really psyched because like I know you've played down a little bit about your mother's influence on it.
Bit, yeah.
I want to see what I see when I go there. Yeah. In the development of the character. Yeah.
Mom, I was Mom is a very huge part of my life.
Huge part of your life.
Yeah. She's gone 10 years now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I love what you've done with this piece, and we're just all excited. We've got some comments too. Tim, do you want to do the comments?
We have a couple. Suze Genero, a designer friend of ours from Massachusetts. She says hello to everyone. Suze. And B. Claudia is back. She's from Germany. She says hello from Germany. Great to listen to you. And she mentioned a couple others. We need a video or a stream in Europe, online ticket for.
Claudia, absolutely.
Plus the poster. I need the poster. It's
not yet. Well, this is
because you have a graphics person too. I read that as well.
I do.
I counted all the people you had to pay. I'm like, oh my God.
My graphics person is someone I've known since we worked in advertising together in Hawaii in the 80s, and he's so wonderful. We just today, I think you're going to get it delivered. Our postcards and our poster.
Oh, sweet.
So we will make sure it's around.
Yeah. I would like to at least email it to B. Claudia so she could.
Yes, absolutely.
So great.
I would like to know, again, with the friendship that you have had for so many years, what it was like to be working together so closely on a project like this. I mean, I'm sure there's good, there's bad, there's
the good, there's the bad, there's the ugly.
Can we take another hour?
My show. Yeah.
Do you guys have another hour?
You nailed it earlier, Tim, when you congratulated Jeffrey on his willingness to collaborate with me, because I think I was a little, not tough, but I was firm. Like I was clear that I felt there was, like I said, unrealized potential, and that there was stuff in the play that I thought could go.
Right.
You know, and that must be very hard for an author to think. What do you mean? But I felt like, because we have had this long relationship, I had his basic trust, and if I could explain why in dramatic terms I thought this change would improve the play, and one thing that I had to say to him many times is, Jeffrey, we're going to focus this play on you and your character.
That was it.
Sold.
Me?
Anything that, you know what I mean? Anything that takes us away from that.
Right.
If there's
Down the river.
If there's a scene that you're not in, they're either talking about you or you are there in spirit, because it's all about your character. And that helped us tighten the focus.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
That action moving forward. It's all about the question of what's going to happen to Lainey.
And everybody supports that.
Everyone supports that. And we're trying to give all the other characters.
And everybody has a thing. Yeah.
Some, layers and some humanity. They're not just comic props for him.
And when he said to me, the other thing he said to me, which made me easier too, was when we decided early on, it's going to be co-author or co-written by Jeffrey Vause and Steve Hauck, story by Jeffrey Vause, because it's still my story, directed by Steve Hauck. So
I noticed that you described it like that, and I think that was very smart. And that was the reason.
And it makes me feel a little less, like Steve came in and bombarded me. He did,
but he came in with a perception. What I find interesting about your perception really added to it. It tightened it,
informed it,
and and it didn't take away from you at all, Jeffrey. It embellished you. It embellished Lainey, and it became pivotal for all the other characters in the play.
And also a lot of times an outside mind looking in has a different perspective, and also especially if it's an outside mind that you trust.
That's a good one, Tim. Trust, right? Yeah, you all have history.
We have history, and we both, when we embarked on this, at first, we're like, "Oh my God, we're either gonna hate each other at the end of it,
exactly.
Or we're gonna be closer than ever." And so far, so good.
So far, so good.
Can I mention one other thing?
Yes, please.
Is that I believe that a collaborative process is also an asset, and I've been in plays, some recently, where I just thought, you know what? The playwright is here in the room. Why isn't the playwright listening to the actors and getting suggestions from the actors? So I am committed to that collaboration in our rehearsal room, knowing that as the director, at some point I'm going to maybe have to make the final call. But I do not treat the play as written so far as sacrosanct or inviolable. We've already had some great discussions.
We change a few words here and there every now and again, which sometimes makes the actors a little, oh my God.
No, but see, we're going to change some things, because the actors, we know as being actors, when you get into a part, you start to understand it probably better than the person who creates potentially. So I want to take advantage of that, and we both do. We want to,
because there's one stage is writing it on paper.
Right.
The second stage is reviewing it and trying to figure out and putting it all together. Then once you have actors come in to perform, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother level. And you hear it, and some things work and some things don't.
Yeah, it's with discovery. That's what happens when you bring it to the table. And you have been doing that. Now you're going to go into your actual rehearsals.
That's what we're doing now.
Yeah, which other things are going to be uncovered when all of that starts.
The doing of it.
Yeah, and the doing of it.
Blocking and
how will I keep that wig on?
So
tuned.
And will you fall off those heels?
Oh no, not the person in a boot. It seems everyone's got a foot injury in New York now. Please don't
even. Oh my God, I have 2 sets of heels I gotta fit into.
Oh my God.
Don't think about it.
I've done it before.
Don't think about it.
Exactly.
Done it before.
Well, and you know what I was going to say, I'm butting in here, that in that Pink Pump show that we did together, I had an old pair of size 14 pumps that I had worn many years before in a production of La Cage aux Folles.
Okay.
and I gave them to you, as I recall, to wear in the show, and you spray painted them pink and put sequins and stuff on them. Am I remembering this correctly?
Well, I probably didn't, but somebody did, because I don't have that talent.
You don't.
I don't have that gay gene.
So men in high heels, size 14s, is a thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, they all wear size 14. That's why it's a thing. Yeah.
Right.
That's why.
But everybody out there, please go to tomorrowwelove.com, and you can find out all things about Tomorrow We Love.
Right, and we're still we just did some fun promotional things the other night that we're hoping to add to the website. The website is constantly evolving as it does. And you can get all the details there.
And please share stuff with all of us on social media.
Again,
everything.
I will.
And that's from June 13th to June 23rd.
June 14th.
June 13th to the 24th.
To the 24th.
Yeah,
and June 15th.
June 15th at 7 p.m. And we've got a lot of tickets sold for that. I'm really excited.
Good. That's very exciting. Very exciting. Cool. Yeah. Steve Hauck and Jeffrey Vause, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I love you guys.
I love you too.
As we say, break a leg. Well, I'm not going to say that. That's not.
Not when he's wearing those heels. Don't say
that.
Thanks for having
me. Break
a
nail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every time is a new experience. And thank you to our wonderful audience who tuned in today. We'll see you all next week. Have a great rest of week. Good. Oh, happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial
Day. Come to Theater for the New City and see all of us Friday night.
Yes. Yes.